Niners fans, it's about that time. 2:30 on a Wednesday. Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. And once again, it's a pleasure to be on with the best fans. Y'all know it in the NFL. This show is nothing, of course, without the fans, without the subscribers. I appreciate everyone tuning into the stream, whether you're on Jay and the Bay Facebook page right now, whether you're on the Spotlight Facebook or YouTube page right now. And of course, if you're tuning in on Jay and the Bay YouTube channel, I definitely appreciate you guys. First, I got to say what's up to the people in the comments. We do have a special guest on today. First, I got to say what's good to Sean Mack. Appreciate you tuning into the stream. Hopefully your week is going well. He says number 6 on the like. Niner Faithful. What's good? He says Jalen Hurd is back. Thankfully, he wasn't injured. We will definitely get into that. I know my guest has some thoughts about that. It's Golden Grizz YouTube. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream. Niner Sickness. What's good? He says, what's up, Faithful? Rams House. What's good? Thanks for coming into the stream, Rams House. Roberto. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream. I have a very special show today with a special guest of mine. Most of you guys probably already know him, but this is the first time that he's been on my show today. He goes by the name of 49ers First Takes. He's an excellent content creator. Of course, he talks about the faithful, the Niner Empire. So let's give a big warm welcome to 49ers First Takes. How you doing, man?
Not bad. How are you, man?
It's good to have you. Good to have you on the show. I've seen a rise in your YouTube channel. This year. I think I discovered your channel when you had maybe 500 or 600 subscribers, and your channel has blown up. And it's good to see a fellow Niner YouTuber continue to have success. And how you doing today?
I'm doing great, man, and I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, it's been a slow grind with the subs and everything. It just sometimes you make a video and it hits.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you make videos and you get 70 views, and it's like, what? I thought I really worked hard on that one, It's just the way that YouTube works, the way you tag your stuff, the way your thumbnail, all that thing. It's all a game. It all kind of varies from time to time, but yeah. I didn't even realize you were a streamer for a while until I don't know exactly what happened, or I finally was like, wait a minute. And so I went and checked your channel out. I'm like, oh, okay. And so, of course, I subscribed to your deal, immediately.
Yeah.
I just like the way you go about things. You're different than me. I'm kind of, monotone and more of, a podcaster. You're, engaging, very positive. You know me, I can be a little bit, my viewpoints are a little bit sometimes, I can come off like I'm a little bit unfeeling or just don't care when certain guys are hurt all the time or whatever. But that's just me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate you having me on. It's good times.
Absolutely. And that's the great thing, because we have a 49er YouTube community with the smaller channels, the ones who haven't hit, 10K subscribers yet, you, me, Niner Sickness, CG Ruthless, 49ers Ultimate Report, just to name a few. And, we all bring something different to the table. And that's why everyone can subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed to 49ers First Takes, go ahead and do that right now. Go ahead, subscribe to his. Yeah, exactly. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. He also has IG, Twitter. I left all that information in the description. You guys check him out. But first, let's get into. So obviously the 49ers had, a terrible season last year. There were several needs on both sides of the ball the 49ers need to address, whether that be in draft or free agency. So in your opinion, what do you think was the most pressing need personnel-wise on offense and defense?
Offensive line was definitely my most pressing need on offense. I feel like our offensive line was hard to poor last year. It's just as far as pass rush pass protection goes. You can even go back to the Super Bowl at right guard. How people say, Chris Jones wasn't the only reason that the Niners came, but he was one of them. And to to hopefully have secured that interior offensive line for the upcoming future. At least, with Mac, it's only going to be a couple years maybe, but with Aaron Banks, it was definitely something that I think they needed to do, and they did. And defensively, you said the most pressing needs defensively that I think the Niners addressed. Just a lot of depth especially on the interior defensive line. We have a lot of depth. We tested our depth a lot the last couple of years. Hopefully, we won't have to this year. But as far as interior defensive line goes, man, we are. I wish we were that deep at corner. That is one area that really scares me right now, a lot. But yeah, I think the trenches is two places where I think that we solidified both that were the most pressing needs for sure.
Yeah, and in the trenches, I feel like that's where the game is won and lost in football. If you can't block, or if you can't rush the passer, it's going to be a long day for that team. And I think Lynch did an excellent job in adding depth in the offensive line. Through the draft, we had to re-sign, the big silverback, Trent Williams. I was getting a little nervous there. I wasn't sure if we would be able to bring him back. Also adding, of course, Alex Mack. He played with Kyle Shanahan with the Atlanta Falcons, so that was a good move as well. And, corner, I definitely think we needed to add some young talent to that room. I think we did, and now we just have to coach them up. And I gotta say what's up to the people. Gotta make sure I keep up with the comments.
No
Niner Sickness says, super excited for today's podcast. I appreciate you coming through, Niner Sickness. Niner Game Podcast. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, man. Rams House says this will be fun. Absolutely. Always welcoming of fans, no matter who you root for. You can always come through and join the Jay and the Bay channel. Tanya Sayal, what's good? She says, happy hump day, go Niners. Yeah, hopefully everyone's having a good Wednesday, as I like to call it. Hopefully everyone's having a good work week. Caden Jenkins, what's good? I like that thumbnail, man. Not the thumbnail.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, the avatar. Excuse me. That's nice. That's unique. And looks like 49er gang. He's showing 49ers First Takes some love, man. He says just subscribe to 49ers First Takes. Absolutely. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed, check out his YouTube link. It's in the description, and also his Twitter and IG. 49er Faithful also says already subscribed to both of you. We appreciate all the love. Now, we were talking about the offense and defense. We have to get into one of the most pressing issues this offseason. Why do you think after the Niners, traded up to pick 3 to get the quarterback of the future, Trey Lance, why do you think Jimmy G is still on the team?
I think he's on the team for a safety net as far as a backup goes. We all know how bad our quarterback room was the last couple of years, and we've had to test it the last couple of years, especially last year. Maybe not the last couple of years. Like, we tested it in the year that he got hurt against Kansas City, and then we had to test it last season. We needed to shore that thing up. But when you draft a rookie, it's not a foregone conclusion that he's going to be successful. So it's always good to have a safety net, a proven player that's played in the NFL that has experience. Jimmy has won and has done that. Now, whether I choose to give him a lot of credit for the wins is one thing, but the fact is that he has been part of the winning, and he's not absolutely terrible, but he's a serviceable to, I would say he's a serviceable, maybe slightly above average starter. And to get rid of him and have no safety net for Trey would be foolish. Two, it just, it's just good to have a good number 2 quarterback. And right now, Trey is that guy, apparently, no matter how good he's playing in camp. But, to have at least 2 good starting quarterbacks is always a good thing. If you're playing your number 3, there's a good chance your season's over anyways if you're on your 3rd string quarterback. But your starter and your backup should be something that you should invest in heavily. And the fact that the Niners are able to do that right now, because Trey's on a rookie deal and all that stuff, then why not? Um, you know,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it for sure.
So with Jimmy G, you said that he is, you said he's not terrible. I guess on his best day, he would be above average. Now,
Yeah.
would you have been on board? Let's say in February or March of this year, if the Niners cut Jimmy, saved $25 million in cap space, and then sign like, I don't know, Tyrod Taylor, Mitchell Trubisky, Andy Dalton, like an average starter, would you have been on board with that?
No.
Mm,
I was hoping for maybe a guy like Fitzpatrick. Maybe I would
mm-hmm.
have been okay with that
Yeah,
personally.
yeah,
Fitzpatrick, he's inconsistent and he has peaks and valleys. He either plays really good or really horrendous. But he's a capable starter.
yeah,
He's not the worst. He balled out in Miami last year, man. Like,
yeah.
whoo. So if they would have cut him and signed a guy like, Fitzpatrick for say like $12 million, and then still drafted Trey, I would have been totally fine with that. But Dalton, Trubisky, Tyrod Taylor, no. I mean, they're below Jimmy. My issue with Jimmy is health. And my issue with Jimmy is I feel like his ceiling has been reached, personally. You know what you're going to get with Jimmy. Jimmy is a known commodity, like I said in one of my videos. It's not that I hate Jimmy. It's just I think we've reached where we could reach with Jimmy. And I think with Trey, it's untapped, and we could reach even bigger heights. So my thing with Jimmy is just injuries and him being what he is, and he's going to give you what he gives you. He's solid when he's healthy, but he's also, he can be inconsistent at times, throw interceptions, and, you could say in the Super Bowl he was one of the reasons why we lost. I'm not going to put it all on him, but, that throw needed to be made, and he didn't make it, and he was a little erratic in that game. He was a little bit erratic in the playoffs in 2019, where they mainly stayed with the run. So with Jimmy, it's not a hate thing. It's more like I've seen what he can do, and I know it's pretty good, but when you can always improve the quarterback position by drafting someone as good as Trey Lance, you have to take that opportunity. So,
no, I totally agree. In that Super Bowl, Jimmy did not play his best fourth quarter. The defense was a little leaky. It didn't contain Pat Mahomes as good as our defense did in the first half of the Super Bowl. That's for sure. But going back to Jimmy, we definitely needed to upgrade the quarterback room. And I think the Niners accomplished that this offseason by getting rid of Mullins, Beathard, and then adding in Rosen and Sudfeld. And, of course, adding in Trey Lance. So I think Jimmy's still on the team because there's Shanahan and Lynch still see value in Jimmy. And also, let's be real, if a team offered the Niners a first round pick, for Jimmy, maybe Jimmy wouldn't be on the team anymore, but that didn't happen. And let's be real, Shanahan's only winning season with the Niners was when Jimmy G was under center for majority of the game. So we'll see what happens as far as will Trey start, week one and all that, or even during the season. But just to piggyback on Jimmy, did you hear that Kyle Shanahan has a set of packages specifically for Trey Lance? And during the season, would you like if Trey Lance goes into the game on a few plays, like, for instance, red zone plays, but Jimmy still played like 95% of the snaps? How would you feel about that?
as long as they don't use him like, what's his name in
Taysom
New
Hill?
Orleans. Yeah, don't make him a gimmick player. Like, if you're going to bring him in, let's see what he can do. If it's a stretch run play once in a while, that's cool. But I would also like to see what he can do behind center. Put him in for a drive or as they're getting into the red zone or something. Yeah, I would be fine with that because I think he needs to playing time. He hasn't played in what seems like forever because of last season. So yeah, like I said, as long as they don't do that Taysom Hill gimmicky garbage, because I feel like that's detrimental to a player like him who has so much potential.
Yeah.
Like, he's so talented. And so use him the right way. Yeah, if you're going to use him in a package, sure. Just like I said, don't be gimmicky. Don't cut his legs out from underneath him. Let him do what he can do,
Yeah, and as you mentioned, he's only played one game in like the last 2 years. And he's going to need all the reps he can get, and that's why I'm very excited for preseason. Can't wait to see him get. I would imagine he would get the bulk of the reps. I don't think Jimmy will play that much in the preseason. I mean, it's only 3 games. I'm used to. I remember when preseason used to be 5 games, but Now it's only 3, but hopefully, Trey Lance gets the bulk of those snaps. I gotta say, what's good to Alejandro? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. I appreciate if everyone hit the thumbs up button for the stream. Let me know, let YouTube know that you're enjoying the stream, and I appreciate everyone who's coming through. Steven, what's good? Thanks for coming into the stream. 49er minded, what's good? He says he agrees with you, First Take. He hates our cornerback depth. Yeah. I could see us, I don't know how you feel, 49ers First Takes, but I could see us drafting another corner next year. Maybe not in the first round, but at least a day 2 pick. What do you think?
I would love it would definitely be a day 2 pick. I'd go second round if you could.
Yeah.
The Niners have an issue. I did listen to different people, your Grant Cohns and all the other people of those ilk. You're talking about how the Niners haven't really, I don't think they've spent money on a first-round corner in I don't know how long. Yeah. The Niners look at the secondary as like I don't know, they don't see it as much of a priority compared to the defensive line. I mean, look at how much we put into our defensive line, and then look at our secondary, especially cornerback position. From what I've heard, this particular system that the Niners run with this wide 9 and the pass rush, they don't value secondary, especially cornerbacks, as much as they value defensive linemen. And that's just the way that particular type of defense, that's what's important. But, man, you can't always get there. And you should have, they're like one injury away from having a really bad time in that secondary. Like they're 2 players deep, and then that's it. Ambry Thomas has been struggling in camp. They say that Diamador Lenore is actually ahead of him right now in camp. They just cut, what do you call, was it Harris? Tim Harris? Chris Harris? I forget the name of the corner.
Tim Harris. I think we have a Tim Harris and a Will Harris, I believe. Or it might
forget the name of him.
Yeah, I know one of our corners has a growing issue that might be Tim Harris.
Yeah, they cut. I think they cut him he's been released, and that
signed
that guy. Yeah, so like, it's definitely a situation in flux.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's scary for me right now, man, for sure.
And the Niner Game podcast with the excellent comment. He says need Verrett and Mosley to stay as healthy as possible with Kwan as well. With Thomas not doing so good, we got to be careful. Now, as you mentioned, First Takes, that it seems like the Niners value a pass rush over a secondary, but I like to think that the secondary, or I should say the defensive line, is the best friend of a secondary, because if the defensive line can get a good pass rush on a quarterback in 3 to 4 seconds, that means the secondary can cover less. And let's be real, that's why Richard Sherman was so deadly on our team, because hey, he had Bosa, Ford, Armstead, Buckner, all being able to get to the cornerback, and Richard Sherman, all he had to do was read the quarterback and see where the ball was going to go. But the Niners definitely invested in the pass rush this offseason, and we're going to need it to be excellent. And as Niner Game podcast mentioned, we're going to need our top cover corners to be healthy.
Yep.
I got to say, what's good to Payo Time? He says, sup, Jay and Aaron, just got off work, heading to coach my soccer team. Hope you both are enjoying talking football. Absolutely. You have a good day, man. Enjoy soccer practice, man. But thanks for tuning in to the stream. In regards to free agency and things like that, and there were several players, speaking of secondary, who were free agents this offseason. Who do you think is the most significant free agent loss for the 49ers?
It would have probably been Kerry Hyder. I would have liked to see them retain Kerry Hyder for sure, because they did a really good job of doing their work of trying to re-sign as many of their guys as possible. But I would have liked to see Kerry Hyder stay, honestly. Don't understand exactly what the reason was, if he just got more money with Seattle, but that would, as far as player that I wish they would have kept for sure, it would have been Kerry Hyder.
No, that's a great choice. I was probably going to say, I know this is probably a bad time to say his name, but on the offensive side of the ball, I would say Kendrick Bourne. I know he dogged out the Niners yesterday. I don't know if you heard about that, but Kendrick Bourne, you heard about it? Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I don't know why Kendrick Bourne would do that, but let's be real. Kendrick Bourne, he was productive, didn't have the best hands, but he was a solid starter at the number 3 wide receiver position. And now I'm like, where do we go? Who's going to be that number 3 wide receiver that's going to step up? Who do you think, if you had to put your money on a receiver in camp now, who do you think is going to win that number 3 wide receiver spot?
Oh man, I don't know. I might just come out of left field and say Trent Sherfield. I don't know, man. He's balling like crazy in camp.
Yeah,
He could be the guy that nobody saw coming. Jalen's finally practicing, I think I've heard.
yeah,
Finally.
yeah,
It only took 2 years, but but yeah, I mean it Sanu, that whole thing with Sanu, I don't hate Sanu. I just think, you'd want a younger guy with a fresher pair of legs,
yeah,
in that number 3 slot place. Like I said, I really wish Jalen Hurd was healthy and would just be ready to go. But right now, it looks like Trent Sherfield might be the number 3 guy just based on how well he's performing in camp. But
yeah.
I'm sure the Niners have other ideas for that. I would have loved to see Juwan Jennings, but he's dealing with, I think
He's got COVID, or he's in the COVID protocol. Yeah.
So he's
and
losing
that's
out for sure.
yeah, and that's like the worst time to get it when you're in training camp. And let's
Yep.
be real, he's a player that's on the bubble. He's not guaranteed
He's
to
a
make a
bubble
roster
player.
spot. So yeah, it's a terrible time to get it. Hopefully he can get on the field as soon as he can, because he was looking good in mini camp. Definitely compared to the last year. So. But we'll see, because it could be Sanu, it could be the undrafted free agent Austin Watkins,
Yep.
Jennings,
I was just gonna say
Hurd.
that.
Who else am I forgetting? Oh, Trent Sherfield, as you mentioned. Simba Webster. I heard, he had a touchdown catch, I believe, today in training camp. So it's almost like it's wide open. There really is no
It does
favorite
seem
right
wide
now.
open. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm intriguing to see how this all plays out. So we went over most significant free agent loss. Who do you think was the most significant free agent signed?
I wanted to be lazy and just say everybody of our own free agents that we kept.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
the most important would have been, it has to be Trent Williams.
Mm.
Locking down that left tackle position with a guy who's a Hall of Fame caliber player, you can't do any better than that.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they re-signed Verrett and kept him in Mosley. But the fact that they were able to score, like you say, the big silverback and keep him on this team, big time. Especially with a young quarterback eventually taking over.
Yeah.
You want to have that kind of player there. I love Joe Staley. I really did. But Trent Williams is a whole other level of player. And the fact that they're able to lock him up probably for the remainder of his career, that was big time.
No, absolutely. That you need someone on the left side to protect the quarterback's blind side, and he's arguably, I say he's the best left tackle. Some say Bakhtiari, the left tackle with the Green Bay Packers, is the best, but they're both two pretty good tackles, and I'm definitely glad that we got Trent Williams back. I would also say Samson from the LA Rams. I think he could be, if he could get double-digit sacks. I don't know if that's asking too much, but he could be a factor in the pass rush because, Bosa, we're taking it easy with Bosa. D Ford, he looks good now, but, I don't want to get my hopes up. And Armstead, I imagine he's going to be lining up inside and out. Also, Arden Key, I think those two could be, big contributors. That's what at least I hope for.
Me too.
Yeah, I got to say, what's good? 49ers Ultimate Report. Thanks for checking in. He says, I can't stay. I'm at work. He's going to rewatch the stream later.
Thank you.
Fail John says,
Of course he is.
I know, right?
Of course he is.
That's funny. I am okay with the Niners quarterback depth. That's funny.
No.
We're okay with your running back depth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. Gotta say, what's good, Coach Dante? Appreciate you joining the stream. And I gotta say, what's good to CG Ruthless Sports, man. Appreciate you tuning in to the stream. Let's see. So moving on, what were your thoughts? I thought there were a lot of needs that needed to be addressed, in the draft. What were your thoughts on the draft picks?
I think we had a really solid draft. I feel like we just nailed needs this year. We went after needs. You know, they say best player available.
Yeah.
I don't think the Niners went best player available this year. I think they went totally for need. They needed a quarterback. They drafted a quarterback. They needed offensive line help. They got offensive line help. They got 2 running backs. I love this draft because it was like there's so many drafts that you watch where you see a pick coming or a pick happens and you're like, who is that guy? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why are we drafting this particular player? And it's best player available. With this one, this draft was all about, okay, every freaking year we play, we always have injuries to this particular position group. So let's double up and make sure that we don't have that problem next year. And they did that.
Yeah.
2 running backs, 2 offensive linemen, of course the quarterback. What is it, Lufanga?
Yep, Hufanga, the safety. Yep.
He's interesting because I know he has issues with like recovery speed. He's not the fastest guy. I don't know if they're going to put him at linebacker or what his deal is. He was a thumper in college, so you know, as you're in the draft, you do take chances on players like that, anyways. You know what I mean? If it's a 6th-round pick, a lot of those players are borderline, could make the team. Sometimes they don't. But yeah, I did their whole draft was from top to bottom. I liked pretty much every player. I wish corner maybe was. I wish we had another another 2nd-round pick and we could have addressed corner a little earlier.
Yeah.
There was some good corners in this draft, especially early, that I wish we could have got a hold of. But it is what it is. Hopefully we can make go of what we got. But yeah, as a whole, I can't even really name. I mean, I'm big on Trey Sermon. I hope he pans out because I really am big on him. And Aaron Banks, I know he's been struggling in camp, but I hope he figures out a way and gets it going because they need that interior offensive line to really solidify this year if they want to do some things, So probably those 2 players, Aaron Banks, Trey Sermon, are my 2 favorite outside of the quarterback.
Nice. Yeah. I think they did an excellent job of getting needs for different areas on the team. I think they, as you mentioned, they addressed offensive line, secondary, running back room. Those were definitely areas where we needed depth. Now, was there a position, do you think, you said cornerback a little bit earlier in the 2nd round, and we had an opportunity to get a cornerback, but we traded down to get Banks, the guard from Notre Dame, which, hey, games were won and lost in the trenches. So besides corner, was there any other position you think the Niners should have prioritized? Maybe if we had a extra 2nd-round pick?
I would have maybe gone after another receiver. Honestly. Another wide receiver because we somehow, it's that position, that number 3 position is so up in the air. It's like I feel like you can never have enough bodies at that position, especially with all the injuries that we've had. And the Jalen Hurd, he's a mystery. What they say, a mystery wrapped inside of an enigma. Like nobody knows about him. So I don't know. And when it comes to the draft, I'm selfish. I want everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe another wide receiver. But like I said, my biggest want outside of the quarterback was corner. I feel like, man, I can't remember the last time we had an elite level shut down corner that wasn't aging or coming off injuries. Like Dion, back when I was like 14. I mean, that's a long time ago. Rod Woodson, he was an aging veteran. So who knows? I mean, I said somebody talk about Jalen Ramsey. I wish we could get a guy like Jalen Ramsey, but that's never going to happen. So yeah.
Looking at our draft history, I can remember back our 1st-round corners haven't been really successful. Like the one that comes to mind is Mike Rumpf. He didn't pan out. So they haven't had much luck drafting corners in the 1st round. And I agree with you. I wish we would have gotten a wide receiver, but it seems like Shanahan and Lynch felt that there were other needs that were higher priority. And they spent high capital drafting, Jalen Hurd, 3rd-round pick. I think Jennings was a 7th-round pick, but I guess they want to see if they can get the most out of that talent. And I guess that's why they didn't address that wide receiver position, because it seems like the only wide receivers that they bring in are just basically just another guy. They're not bringing in a Odell Beckham or Julio Jones. They're not doing that. But yeah, it seems like they wanted to just cultivate the talent, see what they have out of these players, and I can respect that. Hopefully, it works out. That's all. That's all I can say about that. Hopefully, it works out. Let's
Yep.
see. Let's see what's up to the people in the comments. Let's see. Let me scroll back up. Let's see. So Steven says, in regards to our cornerback depth, unless the 49ers can score Xavier Howard, yeah, I doubt that's going to happen. We don't really have the draft capital. And of course, Xavier Howard wants to get paid. He's already making $15 million a year. He wants to get paid 2021. He wants to get Jalen Ramsey money. And we already have the highest paid, middle linebacker, left tackle. Jimmy's making 25, got the highest paid fullback. So yeah, I don't think that we'll have the money for that. I've got to say, what's good to? I'm just gonna say Judney. I'm gonna say what's good, Judney. I appreciate you tuning into the stream. J.A. Aguayo, what's good? He says, "Hi Jay and Aaron, how are you doing? Why does Shanahan not use Richie James more? Is he in the doghouse the way Pettis was for a couple of seasons? Hit the button, people. Let's go."
Yeah, I've heard he is. He has issues with drops, turnovers. He's had some he's not in the doghouse just because he's in the doghouse. He has, for as well as he did that last year, that one game where he was killing it. He has lapses from what I've heard from other people who follow the Niners closely. Like he's in the doghouse because of drops, turnovers, just lapses in concentration. I don't know. Like I've heard some things about him, nothing concrete, just more or less that he's in the doghouse because he turns the ball over, drops the ball. If you're trying to make the team as a number 3 wide receiver, you need to be dependable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it seemed like Shanahan just didn't trust him. He had his claim to fame game against the Packers when it was basically him and River Craycraft as the starting wide receivers, and he balled out. But after that, either Shanahan doesn't trust him or Jimmy G just hasn't developed a good rapport with him. It's one of those two or both. But whenever Jimmy's in the game, he doesn't really go to Richie James. It just seems like there are other receivers who are ahead of him on the depth chart. And speaking of the depth chart, Payo Time says, I'll remember that comment about the Rams running back depth, J, LOL. Hope I don't eat my words about the Niners DB depth. Well, it's definitely, our defensive back depth will definitely be tested against, Matt Stafford and the LA Rams. That's for sure.
He's fantastic.
Exactly. And Judney says, watching from Greece, Athens. All right, you're watching over abroad. Yeah, appreciate you coming through to the stream. Hopefully you enjoy some Niner talk. And for everyone that's in the stream right now, go ahead, hit that thumbs up button. Let me know that YouTube know that you guys are enjoying the stream. And hit that subscribe button to 49ers First Take and Jay and the Bay as well. So let's go with our next question. So that's going to be, which draft pick do you think will make the most impact in their rookie season?
I feel like Trey Sermon, just because he's the amount of times he's going to touch the ball. You know what I mean? He's going to have that much of an effect, especially if you want to keep Raheem Mostert healthy. Because you got to admit, Raheem is great, but he's not a bell cow. He's just not built that way. So how do you keep him healthy? Well, mix in the run of other players. That probably would have been Jeff Wilson's job. But now that he's not playing up until probably, late October, early November, I feel like Trey Sermon can come in and take that job and, do some real good things. I'm looking forward to it, like, for real. I am kind of growing on the fact of, the Niners that want to be more of a run team than a pass team. I am a guy who was always loved the pass. I'm like a pass-hungry guy, like the people to sling the ball around. But, dude, if you can stomp out somebody's will to play by just running the ball on them constantly, and you have like 4 good backs, like you're 4 deep, and your number 2 is as good as someone like Trey Sermon, then I feel like he's going to get a lot of touches this year because, there's talk that Banks is struggling, Ambry is struggling. So if I had to think of somebody who might have an immediate impact, I think it would definitely be Trey Sermon.
No, I would agree. And I think he's in a great system because, as you
Yep.
mentioned, Shanahan does not like to use a bell cow back. There's no Derrick Henry
Nope.
on this team and or no Dalvin Cook or anything like that. I think Shanahan's going to use several running backs on game day. I could easily see about 4 to 5 running backs on game day, including Juice. And I think,
Mm-hmm.
Mostert, I mean, it's a marathon for Mostert. It's not a sprint. We want him to
Yep.
be as fresh as he can be throughout the entirety of the season. So I can imagine Mostert, maybe playing or getting about 10 to 12 touches a game, maybe, and then spreading it out with the rest of the running backs, Sermon, Gallman. And I'm eager to see who's going to be, on special teams. Hopefully it's not Brandon Ayuk. I'm not sure how you feel about that, but hopefully,
No, I don't want him out there.
yeah, exactly.
No.
Hopefully it's Elijah Mitchell. Maybe he he's a burner. I hear he's almost as fast as Raheem Mostert. Maybe he can return punts or return kicks. But yeah, tell the faithful, tell the Niner Empire, why don't you like Brandon the Ayuk show returning punts or returning kicks? Why don't you like that?
Because it's just an opportunity to get him hurt. I feel like his best place is lining up outside the numbers, waiting to catch a pass or blocking in the run game. Special teams, man. Why would you take somebody who has the potential to be one of the best? Like this kid is special.
Yeah.
Like he is electric. Why would you put him in a punt return duty or kick return duty and give it an opportunity for someone to just lay the wood to him and hurt him, and then now you're without him, and you already know Debo has issues staying healthy. It's either a hamstring or a groin or whatever. So if this team wants to eliminate injuries, they got to figure it out in all aspects. If it means taking guys off of special teams, then so be it. Like, no, I would not put him on special teams. No way. He's too valuable of a commodity in this pass game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Special teams is very important. It sometimes gets overlooked, but if you have a good returner on special teams, it can flip the field for the offense. They have less yards to make in order to get to, the other team's end zone to get a touchdown. It's very important. But, on offense, if we're running 50 to 55 plays a games on offense, we're going to need Brandon Ayuk out there for at least 50, most, if not all, the snaps. So we can't afford to lose Brandon. There's no way. We can't afford to lose him because I don't know how you feel, but if one of the three, receivers on the team, Kittle, Ayuk, or Debo is out, who we have no idea who's going to step up. So, I would say have somebody else do the punt return and kick return duties.
Definitely.
And Niner Faithful says Arden Key could end up being a great signing for us, depending on the amount of snaps he gets.
Yep. I've heard he's having a good camp.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
this defensive line is eaten in general right now in camp.
Yeah.
From what I've been hearing.
Exactly. And you mentioned Aaron Banks earlier, the rookie. He's been struggling a little bit. That's going to be an intriguing camp battle. Him versus Daniel Brunskill, and Brunskill. People sometimes forget. He's been in the league a few years. He understands Kyle Shanahan's offense. He's played multiple positions along that offensive line. He's just not going to say, "Hey, Rook, come here, take my starting job." Like that's not going to happen. So Banks is definitely going to have to earn that position. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm totally okay if he has to, sit for a bit to figure out what's going on. I'd rather have, like you said, Brunskill out there if it means, he's playing better. He's playing better. Right? That you don't give a job away. You have to earn it. So if he hasn't earned it, then he shouldn't be giving it.
Exactly. No, I agree. Niner Sickness. He says D Ford has really looked good with pads on, but September is when I want to see him play well.
Exactly. Exactly. This is every freaking offseason. He said last year he felt the best he's ever felt, and he literally played one half last year. So words mean nothing to me.
Yeah. But he's trending upwards. He's
I'm trying to be positive. I really am. It's hard though.
You got to see it to believe it. I respect that. So going into, I think we all know the NFC West is one of the toughest divisions in the NFL. I think there's no doubt about that. And speaking of the NFC West, who do you think is the 49ers' toughest opponent coming up this season?
Seattle.
Seattle.
As long as they have Russell Wilson, they always have a chance.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect to the Rams, because the Rams would be right behind them, and I mean like right behind them. It's a coin flip, really. But Russell Wilson is you could say he has a trajectory to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Like, he's that good. So as long as he's playing quarterback for that team, they always scare me the most out of everybody. The Cardinals, it's kind of a toss up. The Rams, but Seattle with that man, say what you want about him, he's corny, he's whatever. All I know is he is one of the hardest quarterbacks to defend in the NFL, and I get so stressed watching Seahawk games with 49er Seahawk games when he's playing. Absolutely, I'm like just so stressed because the play's never over with that guy. There's always a chance he can turn it loose and have Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf running wide open down the sideline, and he puts a perfectly paced ball that I don't know how he does it. He's just amazing. So until that man's not playing in the Northwest, I would say Seattle.
Yeah, Russell Wilson, he's been nightmares in my dreams for a long time, being a 49er fan, ever since he was drafted to the Seahawks. And as you mentioned, the play is never over. The game is never over as long as number 3, lines up under center. And he's no doubt the best quarterback in the division. And I think he will continue to be a problem. And he's got the skill guys on the offensive side of the ball that are tough. I think, honestly, every division in the NFC West has pretty good receivers. And I think the Niners would definitely, have our hands full. That's for sure.
Yep, I agree.
I got to say, what's good? David Yang. So I think he's reporting, this is per Grant Cohen. He says, Alex Mack is getting beat versus DJ Jones, Kentavious Street, and Kevin Givens is concerning to me. I thought he was an upgrade. Does that concern you that Alex Mack is losing some battles in training camp?
It's kind of a two-way street, because I hear, Kevin Givens is not a slouch.
Right.
DJ Jones is pretty damn good, and Kentavious Street, when healthy, isn't bad either. Like, these are pretty talented interior defensive linemen. It's hard. It's hard to say. You don't want so if they get stonewalled and he's playing really fantastic, Max, then you're going to say, the defense is not getting any pressure. They're not doing anything. So it's hard to say which way I would lean towards. Maybe if it's a 50-50, type of battle where like he wins some and then they win some, but it's concerning if it's consistently every single play. But if Mac is getting his shots in there too, then I won't be as worried. But I don't know. I haven't seen or been to a training camp, so I could never really comment until I actually saw that happening live. And
as you mentioned, the 49ers have a talented defensive front. It may be it's not, they're not household names, outside of the Bay Area, but they're definitely talented. And Mac is winning some battles. I'm sure you heard about the Mac versus Kinlaw battle that happened where
there was a fight yesterday.
Exactly, it was a fight, and Mac won one time and Kinlaw won another. But we got to remember, these athletes, they're in the 1% of their profession. You're going to lose some battles, you're going to win some battles, and that's how you get better in training camp and in practice. So it doesn't worry me that Mac's getting beat. Now, when it comes to game day, and if he's consistently getting, then that's a problem, Yes. But for instance, Samson, he's obviously our edge rusher lining up against Trent Williams. Do we really think he's going to beat Trent Williams multiple times in certain camps? No.
He might get him a couple times.
Exactly. I think Trent will win majority and Samson will win a few, but I think Samson lining up and facing one of the best left tackles will only make Samson better, because
iron sharpens iron, man.
Exactly. A wise man said that. Yeah, Niner Sickness says that all the time, and I love using that quote as well.
That's right. Niner Sickness is he's the OG, man. Gotta respect
exactly. Exactly. So have you looked at the schedule? The 49ers schedule?
I think I had a way back, probably before the draft. I did a stream. I think it might have been with CG and my buddy Kevin, not Niners by Nature, and we did like a record prediction.
Okay.
I was really, really generous with the Niners, but I've kind of changed my tune a little bit, what I think the record might be. So, Is that what you were going to ask? Like what my
Oh,
prediction kind of?
I would definitely get into that, but I also wanted to ask, who do you think is the 49ers' toughest nine?
Oh, uh, to me, it's the Tennessee Titans.
Hmm.
Tennessee Titans, man, with that running back, those receivers, dude.
Yeah,
They got what is it? AJ Brown, uh,
Julio.
uh, Julio Jones, and then of course the monster at running back. What's his name?
Derrick
Derrick
Henry.
Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game scares me, and it's in their crib too.
Yep.
I think so. Yeah, for me, that game scares me. The Colts, I'm a little bit. I think we play the Colts this year.
Yeah.
But I feel like we could beat the Colts. Honestly, I think their quarterback situation now is even more of a question than it was before. But man, Tennessee Titans, bro. I hope we got it locked up or something by the time we play that game because, whoo, man,
Yeah.
that'll be tough.
Yeah.
That a game where people are going to get hurt. Like someone's going to get injured in that game. So,
Yeah, that's going to be, they call it a black and blue game, especially with Derrick Henry. That's going to be a huge test for our run defense. And that game, it's on a short week. That's a Thursday night football game, 2 days before Christmas. I don't envision us winning that game. If we did, that would be a great, but I'd be surprised. And the Colts, Carson Wentz, we'll see if he's available. I hope he, I don't wish injuries. I'm sure you don't wish injuries on any other franchise. So hopefully, he comes back sooner than later. And also their best offensive lineman, Quentin Nelson, had the same foot injury, and he's out for, between 5 to 12 weeks. But, that game against the Colts, DeForest Buckner will be coming back to Santa Clara. And
right.
Yeah, and it's going to be, the 49ers will have a bye week right before that game. So we'll be well rested, ready to go. The coaching staff will have, double the amount of time to prepare for the Colts. I think we should win that game, but it should be a close game nonetheless. Definitely. And I got to say, what's good? Luke Zach 11. He says, Kyle Shanahan without Jimmy G, 25-37. Kyle Shanahan with Jimmy G, 22-8. 49ers better keep Jimmy. All right. Well, he is still on the roster, and we'll see who he thinks gives the 49ers the best chance to win come week 1. So
that's right.
Rams House says, love this show. I feel like Trey Lance will be a stud. All right. David Yang says Debo looks fit. He's going to ball this year. Let's see.
So.
That's what we hope. Niner Sickness says Elijah Mitchell has really been looking good in camp, even better than Trey Sermon. Interesting.
Elijah Mitchell is really good at catching the pass.
Yeah.
That he's a good receiving threat. So, hey, more the merrier, man.
Exactly.
There's plenty of room at that table to feed. So,
exactly. Never too many weapons. Never too many. What's good? Awesomeness Sports. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. And go ahead and predict. What do you think the 49ers win-loss record will be this year?
I'm going to go 12-5.
12-5. Okay. That's exactly what I had. Yep.
I don't think the Niners are going to get the number 1 seed. I think the Niners are going to be a wild card team. Unfortunately, I think Tampa's the team to beat unless Tom Brady breaks his leg tomorrow. And then it's wide open. And you still got Aaron freaking Rodgers and Russell freaking Wilson, man. You're right. I want teams, if we beat them, to be at their best because I don't want anybody coming out and saying, oh, you guys beat us at, 50% or whatever. So, yeah, until those two men are – until he's not the quarterback of the Packers and Russell, you know what I mean, those two teams, I just think that the Niners, 12-5, hey – you're in the dance, man. You're in the dance. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And whatever happens after that, you never know. So.
No, exactly. And I think it's going to be a tough division. And I think the last game we play of the season will be against the LA Rams. That could decide who wins or loses the division. But yeah, it's going to be an incredible year. I can't wait. I got to say, what's good to Stunner Fillmore. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Appreciate you watching. Anyone who's watching on Spotlight Sports Network, YouTube, and Facebook, and also on Jay in the Bay Facebook page, and of course on the YouTube page, I appreciate you coming through to the stream. Westbrook has an opinion on the Ayuk show returning punts. He says returning can actually be safer than playing wide receiver because you can see what's coming towards you.
That's true. It's just, there's a lot of bodies getting piled up in one spot. It just makes me nervous personally.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, man, with putting your skill position players as kick returners. It just gets me scared, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I would I don't have a problem with putting a skill position player there, but one who's so important to your offense. Like
Yeah, like a cog. That's like
it's
putting Jerry Rice back there, man. Like, do you
yeah,
really
yeah.
want to put him back there? I don't think so.
Yeah, I would rather put another player back there. And I think at times they'll use different players throughout the season. But yeah, I wouldn't want to put Brandon back there or Debo. They're just too vital to the offense. I would hate that one of those players gets hurt on special teams and then the offense may not operate the same unless
Exactly.
Trent. What about Trent Sherfield? He played special teams. With the Cardinals. Also, Simba Webster from the LA Rams. He plays special teams as well. So,
Richie James is
yep,
still. I mean, he could be a special teams guy.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's yeah. I would definitely, if you're gonna go that route, go with the fourth or fifth starter wide receiver who has some quicks. Put your top flight guy back there. I mean, I know John Taylor did it back in the day with the 49ers during the late 80s, early 90s. He was a punt returner, and he was pretty good at it. But he had injury issues during his career too. It wasn't Jerry Rice that was back there; it was John Taylor. So,
yeah.
for all you guys who are young and didn't know that, I know Niner sickness knows that. But yeah, but for the most part, you just want to keep those guys as far away from that as possible because you're right; it affects two areas now. It's going to affect your kick returns or punt returns and your offense. So you're losing two pieces instead of one.
Yeah. No, exactly. And J.A. Aguayo 56 has a excellent comment. He says Trey Lance might be the most impactful rookie if he takes over sometime during the season. Do you think Shanahan will put Trey Lance in red zone packages right from the start of the season?
I think he will. I think they're working on it right now, and I think in the first game we're going to see Trey Lance at some point.
Yeah, I hope you're right because I do want to see Trey Lance in, and because we know he provides a different dimension to the offense. What he can do with his legs, the read option, and that's another layer that the defense has to prepare for during the week. Are they going to see Jimmy G? Are they going to see Trey Lance? So I think it'll definitely help the offense, and I'm excited to see him used in preseason and also, of course, in the regular season.
Definitely.
Brandon the King, what's good? Appreciate you tuning in to the stream. He says, can't wait for this defense to get back to prime time. All right. Same here. Niner Sickness says the last good punt returner we had was Ted Ginn. Hopefully we find someone. LOL. Yeah, I believe Ted Gwynn is the last player for the Niners to have a punt return for a touchdown, I believe. So it's been quite some time.
As long as it isn't Kyle Williams back there.
I know, right? Don't want to have that. Stunner Fillmore, I appreciate you tuning in to the stream. Hopefully you have a good Wednesday and a good rest of your week, man. And Caden Jenkins says, what's good? Gotta say, what's good to Starscream Sub-Zero. I appreciate you tuning in to the stream. So I had one more question for you, and it's about training camp. So what are your thoughts on training camp, and who are you most excited to see? And also, is there a camp battle that you're particularly eyeing or paying close attention to?
What the most exciting thing? Okay, let me start over again. I'm like stuttering here.
Yeah, I gave you 3 questions in one.
My most interesting camp battle is definitely the offensive line going against that great depth interior defensive line. Aaron Banks, Alex Mack. Sounds like the defense is winning it right now. Hopefully the offense can turn it around and return serve. My most player that I'm most interested in training camp is Trey Lance. Man, I just want to see what we got. I want to see the new toy. And from all the reports right now, man, he sounds like he's more than adequate and very deserving of that pick that they spent all that draft capital on. Because I'm hearing Mac Jones ain't doing so great in Patriots camp right now. So again, it's camp. It's not the regular season. It's not live bullets, but it starts with training camp, So, I mean, the kid has the skills, the kid has the moxie, and apparently he has the capability mentally too. So, man, that's the most excited I've been in a long time for the quarterback position because all the reports are positive. I haven't heard one negative report about Trey Lance since training camp started. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely proving Trey Lance that is why he was the number 3 overall pick, and he's in the best situation out of all the rookie, draft picks this year. The Jets, the Jags, they're rebuilding franchises. Mm-hmm. Chicago, they're on the brink. They've got a pretty good defense. I don't know if it was as good as it was a few years ago, but the defense is there. I'm trying to think. The Patriots, they'll be hovering around 500 for majority of the year, but I think the 49ers have a great situation with the coaching staff, with the weapons we can surround Trey, and I think he'll flourish, in this system. And speaking of Trey Lance, Niner Sickness says 49ers with Trey Lance will give the Seahawks nightmares as Russell Wilson has given the 49ers all these years.
All day. I hope so. I'm so sick of those guys, all those type of quarterbacks, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, all those guys. What's his name in Baltimore? I'm trying to think of his name.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I want to give the league a little taste of their own medicine because our run game ain't no joke. And if the quarterback is doing it too, and then you have options in the pass game, you know how hard it is to play defense against an offense like that? It's super difficult. So I want to give the league back a taste of the medicine that they've been giving us for a bit. Hopefully we can, because I'm very vengeful, so I'm all about it. Yeah, definitely Niner Sickness for sure.
Nah, I hope so. I agree with Niner Sickness. If Trey Lance reaches his potential and it seems like he's doing all the right things, I heard a report before, I think when minicamp ended, the players were all given tablets to study the playbook and things like that, and they can record the time you turned on the tablet and you were studying the plays. And Trey Lance had the most time on the iPad studying, so he's clearly a student of the game. He's taking this very seriously, and he's going to give Kyle Shanahan a very tough decision whether to start himself week 1 or Jimmy G. And I think this is great for Jimmy, though. I think it's great that he's playing, with, fire under him. I think that's what he needed. He got the big contract after only playing 5 games. He was never really pressured by another quarterback in camp. And I think this will do wonders for Jimmy G. Hopefully he'll be given the opportunity to prove that this season. But I appreciate you coming on. For those that are just tuning in, make sure you check out 49ers First Takes YouTube channel and also his IG and Twitter. And the floor is yours. You can plug your social media again, or if you have something else you'd like to say to the faithful, to the Niner Empire, the floor is yours.
Yeah, subscribe to 49ers First Takes. My Twitter is mostly 49ers, just like my Instagram. I will post family stuff here and there, but for the most part, it's all 49ers. Yeah, me, I'm just a different flavor of the same great family, 49ers family, I might be a little more serious, a little more monotone, but I try to give as many updates as possible as my job permits. I do try to live stream at least once a week. During the season, I will be probably reacting post-game to games. So if you guys want to jump in my stream after games, so you could jump in Jay's stream, whoever stream you want to join, whatever. Talking post-game and maybe do some stuff during the week too as the season gets going, maybe interacting with other fan bases. I like the ability to socialize and connect with the followers that I have. I love this sort of platform. I think it's great. I'm glad that I decided to start doing the camera stuff. I like making my little short, quick videos that, do the job, but at the same time, I like to interact. I like, Jay, I got to say that you and a lot of these other YouTubers, man, I'm so glad that I decided to make a channel 2 years ago. It's such a loving, welcoming YouTube community, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are a YouTube community. We all bring something different, and we all just love to talk about our love for the 49ers. And I agree with you. I wish I would have started YouTube, years ago. But I'm glad I started when I did. And I appreciate you coming on to my show, Jay in the Bay, of course. And we definitely have to do this again. We'll definitely link up again during the season. I don't know if it'll be
Definitely.
pregame, postgame, but we'll figure something out for sure. But thanks for coming on, and you have a good rest of your week, your Wednesday. And
Thank you,
thanks for
sir.
coming on, man. You have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, bro. Have a good one. See
All
ya.
right, you too. See you. All right. So 49ers first take. Make sure you guys check out his content. Everything is in the description as far as his YouTube channel, his IG, his Twitter. Check out 49ers first take. Excellent content creator. I got to continue on with these comments. I got to say, what's good to the 49er Empire? He says, what's up, Jay from the Bay? Let's see. Stunner Fillmore says, hopefully they're on good terms. JK and AM. The initials aren't ringing bells to me. Maybe you can say their names if you're still on. Stunner Fillmore says, shout out to Jay in the Bay and 49ers first take. JG, yeah, I think Jimmy G would be the starter. I think so. J.A. Aguayo says Seattle is the toughest game in our division, and outside it's the Titans by far. It's a long flight and a time zone change as well. I agree. That is, our toughest road game for sure. And J.A. Aguayo is giving us his regular season prediction for the 49ers. He's got us going 11-6. All right. Yeah, I would say 11-6, maybe 12-5. There's always going to be a game we shouldn't lose, kind of like last year, or was that 2019 with the Falcons? Like we shouldn't have lost that game, but the the Niners didn't feel that sense of urgency that you need in the NFL. But sometimes that happens. And Stunner Fillmore says, thank you, Jay. Absolutely, man. I appreciate you joining the stream. Tell your friends and family about Jay in the Bay YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate it. And I'm going to continue on with these comments. Let's see. Let me go back up a little bit. Okay. So let's see. Pinor. He says Mitchell Speed would be interesting returning punts. He isn't a full-time RB1. I agree. And I think that's why Elijah Mitchell, who we drafted, I believe he was our 7th round pick in this year's draft. He's got great speed. I'm not sure why he lasted so long in the draft, but he could be used in a variety of ways. Maybe he could be a gunner on a punt return coverage because he's fast, as long as he can tackle. He's not going to be the RB1, as Pinor mentioned, but he could definitely return punts, return kicks. Maybe he could be a third down back. Like we could use him in a variety of ways. J.A. Aguayo says, back in the day, John Taylor was used and Darrell Green was used with the Washington football team. No, I understand that. I think times have changed, though. Ayuk means so much to this offense. Can you imagine if it's just Debo and Kittle? Like, who's going to step up and be the opposite receiver of Debo? And also who would in turn be that third wide receiver? I feel like the wide receiver room is so open right now. We're going to need 3 wide. We're going to need Kittle, Debo, and Ayuk to play majority of the snaps this season. There's no doubt about that. Stunner Fillmore says, yes, great call. Let's see. Stunner Fillmore says, loving those little breaks in my voice. Okay. I appreciate you tuning in, man. Let's see. Stunner Fillmore says, oh, man, that made my day. Can't thank you enough. Absolutely, man. I appreciate you coming through to the stream. I'm glad you're enjoying the Jay in the Bay live stream, man. Let's see. Balby Talks Giants. What's good? Appreciate you joining in the stream, man. I welcome all fans, no matter who you root for, and good luck to your Giants this year. Let's see. J.A. Aguayo says, great show as usual. Very good knowledge. You gentlemen have a blessed day and take care. Absolutely. I appreciate your thoughts. I appreciate the kind words, man. Hopefully you have a good rest of your Wednesday. And Stunner Fillmore says, have a great one, fam. You do the same, man. Luke Luna, what's good? Appreciate you joining the stream, Luke Luna. I had on 49ers first takes earlier. He just stepped out, but you could always watch the stream on the replay. A great interview I had with 49ers first takes. Let's see. 49ers Ultimate Report. What's good? He says, watching you on the bus. You're still on, Jay. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate all the support, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I think you got a stream later today. I think 49ers Ultimate Report. I'm going to try to stop in. If not, I got you on the replay. David Yang says that Colts game ain't no joke either. Yeah. I think, if Carson Wentz is there, Quentin Nelson are there, it'll definitely be more difficult. And I think our offensive line will definitely have their hands full with DeForest Buckner. Oh, looks like Stunner says, he says, my bad, I meant Kinlaw Mac. Yeah, I mean, camp, I'm sure, in training camp, guys get into fights. It just happens. It's hot. You're working out. You want to win every battle you can. You don't want to lose a battle. I'm sure they're fine. Especially along in the trenches, guys are going to win and lose, but I'm sure they're fine. It's just on the field. I'm sure they won't take that off the field. Luke Luna says, what's good? Doing good on a Wednesday. Monica, what's good? She says, it's my boy, Jay in the Bay. What's good on a Wednesday? Hopefully your day is going good, Monica. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Stunner says, I didn't realize you were still on and read it late. My super bad. You don't need to post it between you and me. Not used to the format. No bad. No worries, man. No worries. You'll get used to the format. No problem. I'm sure you'll be tuning into the stream a lot more. So yeah, no worries, man. I appreciate your input. Luke Luna says, Dwelly is looking good, man. I've defended him for a long time now because I feel he gets judged a little harshly for the little opportunity he receives. He's got hands, man, and he put on the size. We'll see. I'm in a wait and see with Dwelly. I would have loved if we could have. Obviously, I would have loved if Jordan Reed would have came back to the team, but hopefully he does well in his retirement life. He suffered a lot of injuries, in his time on the football field. So hopefully Jordan Reed has a productive life, post NFL. But yeah, I would have loved to see Jordan Reed come back, or maybe even the Niners get Zach Ertz. I just feel like there's a drop off from Kittle. I know he's so great; he's the best tight end in the NFL, and I just feel like there's a big drop off from going from Kittle to the next tight end, which would be Dwelly. And the Niners signed another tight end today. I posted it on my YouTube channel. I'm sure you guys have seen it. So the Niners have 4 or 5 tight ends. Obviously, not all of them are going to make the active roster, but we'll see, man. We'll see. I just want to see more from Dwelly, Let's see. Let's see. 49ers Ultimate Report. He says, I have a former 49ers and former KGO sports personal, Mike Schumann at 5. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that. That's pretty cool that you're able to get him on. Let's see. All right. David Yang says Ross the Boss needs to get more consistent blocking. Always been his issue. Yeah. And, Kittle is so great at receiving and blocking that I guess when other people do it behind him, they have a lot to strive for. But, I mean, especially we know with Kittle, sometimes he can get nicked up. Sometimes he can miss some games. Hopefully Ross Dwelly would be able to step in if need be. But I wish we would have gotten some more talent at that tight end position. I know we got Michael Pruitt. He's out right now with, I think, a calf injury. We signed Jordan Matthews, and we signed a few other players. So we'll see how that tight end room shapes out, come cut days and a 53-man active roster. We'll see how that comes out. But I appreciate everyone tuning in to the stream. Monica says, keep stunning, Stunner. I appreciate Monica coming in. 49ers Ultimate Report. David, Stunner Fillmore. Let's see, Luke Luna. David. J.A. Aguayo. Balby. Let's see, 49er Empire. Starscream Sub-Zero. Niner Sickness. Caden Jenkins. Brandon DeKing, Luke Zach 11, West Brick, Awesomeness Sports, Rams House, Payo Time was in here, Niner Faithful, Judney, Coach Dante, Steven, Niner Game Podcast, 49er Minded, Steven, Alejandro, Tanya Sayal, Roberto, It's Golden Grizz, Sean Mack. So I appreciate everyone coming through to the stream. Make sure you guys check out 49ers First Take. All his social media is in the description. Let's see. Luke says, well, what do you expect? Dwelly is better than the rest of the tight ends we have brought on, and all we need out of him is to be a star at number 2. Remember, he's a number 2. He's not supposed to be a number 1. No, that's very true. I guess I don't know if it's wrong for me to expect more, but I guess I just want him to make the most out of his opportunity. That's all I'm saying. Like, make the most out of your opportunity. We'll see how it goes in the regular season this year. And yeah, it's unfortunate because Kittle is so great that, you know, I'm not expecting Dwelly to obviously be like Kittle, but when Kittle's not in there, I guess it's just, you know, when Kittle's not in there, it leaves a void, blocking and a tight end receiving option. I just feel. But, you know, that's no fault to Dwelly, but I just think we should get better at the tight end position. But maybe Jordan Matthews makes the 53-man active roster. Jordan Matthews excelled in the NFL at the wide receiver position. Maybe he could be a good tight end as far as catching the ball, but we'll see. Niner Sickness says, great podcast. And looks like Monica agrees with Luke. They should use Dwelly more. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone tuning in to the stream on a Wednesday. I appreciate everyone leaving a thumbs up for the video. Also making sure you subscribe. And I may do a video tonight, maybe talking about the training camp today. I may do that, or I might just talk about it tomorrow because I believe the Niners have a day off from training camp tomorrow, I believe. But I appreciate everyone coming on to the stream. I will be having more guests on the show this week. Just stay tuned for that. 49ers Ultimate Report is giving me a report on the likes, 31 likes. All right, that's pretty good. And I appreciate everyone coming through to the stream. Shout out to everyone watching on the Spotlight Sports Network, YouTube, Facebook, and everyone who's seen this on Jay and the Bay Facebook page. Let's see. Jose Padilla, what's good? He says, what happened with Matt Stafford? His thumb got injured. Yeah, his thumb got injured. The x-rays came back negative. I'm not sure if he's practiced since. I don't know if they've taken it easy with him, but the x-rays are negative, so that's good. So it's probably just a little sore, but I'm not sure about his status in training camp as of right now. Let's see. Monica says, look forward to the next stream, my guy. I appreciate the support. And Monica says, in regards to Matt Stafford, the x-ray was negative for Stafford, but it was the same thumb he injured prior. Yeah, I know. That is a bad thing. And Monica says he is not practicing now. It's very swollen. Yep, that's definitely what I would imagine. And yeah, so hopefully Stafford heals up. He'll be ready to go for week 1. And I'm gonna sign out right now. Everyone, I hope has a good Wednesday. And thanks for tuning in to the stream. And what's good, Matt Navarro? I see you guys